In a recent episode of The Graham Norton Show, the literary prowess of Dame Judi Dench collided with the personal narrative of Prince Harry, leading to what some are calling a cultural humiliation. The episode, aired with a lineup including the likes of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Jack Whitehall, became a battleground of wit and wisdom when Dench, in her characteristic grace, recited Shakespeare from memory, inadvertently overshadowing Prince Harry's attempts to share his personal struggles. This interaction has sparked a debate, particularly when viewed through the lens of Meghan Markle's influence, whose public image has often been at odds with traditional British sensibilities. From the moment the show began, the atmosphere was set for an intellectual clash. Judi Dench, an icon of British theatre, demonstrated her command over Shakespeare's Sonnet 29 with an impromptu performance that left the audience spellbound. This was not just a display of memory but a testament to her deep connection with the bard, a connection that starkly contrasted with the more personal, introspective anecdotes Prince Harry tried to share about his mental health journey. The juxtaposition was stark, and for some, it felt like a subtle critique of the modern celebrity culture where personal drama often overshadows cultural depth. Meghan Markle, often seen as the architect behind Harry's public narrative shift, has been critiqued for possibly encouraging this focus on personal over cultural heritage. Her influence is perceived by some as pushing Harry towards a more Americanized, media-savvy persona, one that might not resonate with the traditional, reserved British public. On this show, as Dench's recitation echoed through the studio, it was a poignant reminder of the cultural depth Britain prides itself on, a depth that many feel Meghan has somewhat overlooked or even undermined in her approach to their public life. Critics argue that Meghan's emphasis on personal branding and advocacy, while commendable in its own right, might neglect the rich tapestry of British culture, which figures like Dench represent. The episode, therefore, served as an unintentional critique, where Dench's performance was a celebration of British literary tradition. Harry's contributions were seen by some as a reflection of a newer, more self-focused narrative that Meghan has been accused of cultivating. The conversation on the show moved from Shakespeare to the more mundane, with Harry discussing his mental health, an important topic, but one that, in this setting, felt out of place against the backdrop of Dench's cultural homage. This moment was not lost on viewers, with social media abuzz with comments on how the contrast highlighted a cultural divide. Some argued that it was a microcosm of the broader tension between the old and new Britain, where Meghan's influence on Harry is seen as pulling him further from his roots. Moreover, the dynamic was further complicated by the presence of Arnold Schwarzenegger, whose Hollywood anecdotes, while entertaining, also underscored the clash between celebrity culture and cultural heritage. Here was an American action hero juxtaposed against the backdrop of British literary tradition, with Harry caught in the middle, trying to bridge two worlds. This scenario suggested, to some, that Meghan's influence might be steering Harry away from the cultural and historical responsibilities expected of a royal, towards a more personal, celebrity-like narrative. The discourse around this episode has also reignited discussions on Meghan's relationship with the British public. Her actions, from stepping back from royal duties to her outspokenness on various issues, have been perceived by some as a rejection of traditional royal protocol. This perception was amplified by the stark contrast with Dench's performance, which many saw as an embodiment of what it means to be a cultural icon in Britain, someone who celebrates and preserves the country's literary and historical legacy. The criticism isn't just about the show, but reflects broader sentiments about Meghan's impact on Harry's public persona. Her choice to move to America, her media engagements, and the way she has discussed her experiences within the royal family are often cited as examples of her prioritizing personal narrative over cultural stewardship. While her efforts in social advocacy are acknowledged, there's a segment of the public and commentators who feel this comes at the expense of embracing the full spectrum of what it means to be part of British royal heritage. In conclusion, the episode of The Graham Norton Show where Dame Judi Dench's Shakespearean recitation stood in stark contrast to Prince Harry's personal revelations, has become more than just an entertainment moment. It has morphed into a symbol of the cultural and personal tensions that exist within Britain, particularly around the figures of Harry and Meghan. Whether or not one views this as a humiliation or simply an interesting juxtaposition, it undeniably underscores the ongoing dialogue about the role of modern royals in preserving and representing cultural heritage versus pursuing personal growth and advocacy.